Namaste and welcome back. I am Anushka Silwal, and joining us today is Mr. Arun Poudel, the Executive Director of the Buddha Prakash Foundation, a licensed meditation teacher with the Turgar community and a lecturer in Buddhist philosophy. Arunji, thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to the podcast, and I'm so pleased to have you here today. These days, the word meditation is everywhere, from books to apps to social media pages. So I wanted to ask you, from your vast experience in this field, what do you think people are looking for when they come to meditation?
Thank you for having me here this morning. First of all, let me clarify, I don't have any vast knowledge. I have little knowledge, and sometimes this knowledge feels, sometimes I feel like I know something, and sometimes I feel like I don't know anything. So what I have understood from the people who are seeking meditation, they are at one point in their life, they feel dissatisfied, and they realize it.
Yeah.
So whatever they are doing, they feel dissatisfied or think that, okay, there could be something better. My experience could be something better than this. And then they start exploring and they come to meditation.
Yeah. So do you think they're specifically in this dissatisfaction, do you think they're looking for clarity? Do you think they're looking for control? Or is it something else entirely?
Outward, at the surface level, people look for control, people look for clarity, for joy, for happiness. Yeah. Happiness is the most common word these days. But deep inside, there is this feeling of dissatisfaction, being dissatisfied with what you have or your current state of affairs.
Yeah.
When you want control, then you are not satisfied with your current level of control.
Right.
So I should be more in control.
Okay.
I should experience more joy, more happiness, more peace. So you are dissatisfied.
Okay.
So at the bottom of it is dissatisfaction.
Gotcha. And when people come into meditation, do you think they have some kind of misconceptions? You know, whether it is false expectations or those kind of people who don't want to do meditation because they have a false idea of what it is like?
Yeah, there are many false expectations and false ideas. One of the misconceptions or false idea about meditation is it will make you thoughtless.
Right.
It will give you peace, happiness, bliss, clarity.
You close your eyes and then everything's fine.
Yeah.
But what is it actually then? What do you think meditation gives you then?
It's quite complicated.
Yeah, of course, but to simplify it for like new beginners, for instance.
Okay, so maybe I'm overly simplifying, but meditation will allow you to know yourself.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what most people want anyway.
Yeah.
When it comes to meditation these days, there are a lot of popular terms that we've been hearing, like mindfulness or Vipasana or other awareness practices, but we don't really understand the differences between them. So can you explain just basic things, the differences between, say, Vipasana and mindfulness for us?
Okay. Both terms, mindfulness and Vipasana, come from the Buddhist tradition.
Okay.
Although these days mindfulness has been adapted to modern culture, and there are many mindfulness techniques and mindfulness methods in every walk of life. I was in UC Berkeley for a summer program in mindfulness for educators. And there were 80 mindfulness teachers from different parts of the world, mostly from the North America, but from other parts also. And all of them were worried about this proliferation of mindfulness into everything. Okay, mindful way of cooking, mindful way of raising kids, mindful way of earning money,
right,
mindful way of having vacation, and mindful way of making love, you name it. And this has diluted the meaning and the strength, the depth, the gravity of the practice of mindfulness. And Vipasana, sometimes I hear even learned people, even scholars, confusing mindfulness with Vipasana. Although for Vipasana, mindfulness gives a foundation.
Yeah.
But Vipasana goes deeper.
Okay.
So mindfulness is like you are given a meditation object, an object for meditation, and you bring your mind to it repeatedly. Your mind get lost, and you remember to bring it back.
Okay.
So you remember to bring it back. So that is mindfulness, the basic idea of mindfulness. But when the masters like Thich Nhat Hanh teaches mindfulness in the West, it's more than that. It's more than just bringing your mind back to the object.
Right.
It's closer to Vipasana. So when he teaches it.
Okay.
But when the later this modern day specialists, they are doing great work to help people, and their motivation I don't doubt.
Yeah.
So they have the good motivation to help people. But when they are oversimplifying mindfulness into everything, then it loses the real meaning.
Right. Yeah. So mindfulness is more about awareness, being aware of what you are doing as you're doing it. And you said Vipasana is something deeper. So can you...
Yeah. Mindfulness is not even being aware.
Okay.
So it's basically the way it is understood these days. Mindfulness is being aware of something.
Right.
But the classically speaking, mindfulness, its Sanskrit term is smriti.
Right.
To remember. To remember.
Yes.
To remember your object of meditation.
Okay.
So to bring your mind back to that object.
Okay.
So you keep forgetting, your mind keeps wandering.
Yes.
And you remember to bring it back.
Right. Okay.
But when there's the mindfulness-based stress reduction MBSR, and John Kabat-Zinn is doing great work. He has done great work in the West. He has helped many people through this program. And he has learned it from the great masters, Buddhist masters. When he teaches mindfulness, it's more than that. It's more than just bring it back to the present object.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, like you said, these days, a lot of meditation practices have been taken from, Buddhist philosophy and taught without teaching the philosophy of it. Do you think it is as impactful when people don't know the story behind it or don't know the reasons or the philosophy behind it, especially in the West? Or does it lose some of its impact on the way?
So it depends on your purpose, your objective.
Okay.
So what you are trying to achieve. If you are trying to achieve a little peace of mind, as it is very famous these days, have some peace of mind.
Yeah.
A little peace of mind, little focus on what you are doing, and having your relationships better. So then that's okay. You can use the mindfulness techniques of mindfulness, and if you go a little deeper, you can practice Vipasana, learn and practice Vipasana.
Okay.
So that will help.
All right.
But if your objective is higher than that, if you align yourself to the Buddhist ideals of your potential, human potential, and the extent to which we can grow and flourish, then you are not satisfied with the limited gains.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, again, coming back to people meditating and awareness and all of that, a lot of people say they can't meditate because they can't settle their minds are too busy and they can't focus. So to those kind of people, is there a meditation technique or do you have some advice to offer them?
That relates to another misconception about meditation.
Okay.
Many people talk to me and they say, I cannot meditate because my mind is so restless.
Yeah.
It's wandering all over the place. But when we understand what meditation is, then that is not a problem because we start with the wandering mind.
Right. Okay.
So that's the mind we have. Wandering, you cannot not inability to focus. Everything is okay.
So is there a specific meditation technique that people can start with? Do they just sit there and observe what they're thinking? What exactly is the exercise?
Yeah. So the first thing is to start observing your mind.
Okay.
To start observing your experience with body.
Right.
To start observing your experience with the sensory perceptions, and for that thoughts and all the wandering mind, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you observe how you're taking in the world, I assume, with your senses. You think about, you observe how you feel, and then what do you do?
We call it bringing awareness to your experience in this moment.
All right.
Oftentimes we are given an object to start with, or you are suggested an object to take an object. Although after some time you can meditate without an object also. Okay. So for beginners, having an object is helpful. So oftentimes we are given an object like breath or physical sensations, sound. It can be anything.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Also, you teach a method called anytime, anywhere meditation. So can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like in daily practice?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
My teacher, my master, Mingyur Rinpoche, is a great master of meditation and Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. He says you can meditate under any circumstances, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you are in the city, in the mountaintop, in a beautiful cave, in a beautiful garden, or in the chaos of the traffic, or in the midst of your daily course.
Yeah.
Everything, anything, anywhere. If you know.
Right.
So the main thing is you need to learn. Know and learn the skill, and to learn that, to know that, we start with the practice of awareness, bringing awareness to our present experience. Oftentimes we start with the object,
right, like we talked about. So everyone talks about making things accessible, but this meditation has been accessible to everyone everywhere then. Yeah. So the main thing is when you know it, how to use it, then you can make every experience, every moment, a moment of meditation. Right. Just like Mingyur Rinpoche often gives the example of watch. Okay. Suppose you have a watch, wristwatch, very beautiful, very expensive, but it doesn't tell you time if you don't know how to use it. Yes. Yeah. And when you know how to use it, then it can tell you time, anytime, anywhere. I think that's a great analogy. Okay, now let's talk about transitions in life. Everyone has to go through them. You went through them. You have a background in journalism and media before you focused full-time in Buddhist Studies. How do people know it's the right time to make a change in life or to pivot? Are there signs? Do we ignore these signs? What do you think happens? So again, it comes back to awareness. Okay. So you be aware of what, how you feel about what you are doing. So how you feel about your general experiences in life. Okay. Yeah. And it also depends on your background also. So your studies and the people you meet and the stories you read. Right. Yeah. For me, the interest in spirituality or meditation was it started in my early teens. Yeah. I read spiritual books. Wow. They were all around my home. My father was an avid reader. Okay. Yeah. So and at that time we didn't have any internet. We didn't have TV. Yeah. There was only one radio. Okay. We sometimes listened to some songs. Yeah. So that was only entertainment, and the main entertainment was reading for me. Okay.
I picked up any book, I started reading, and there were many spiritual books, and I started developing an interest in them. And later I started a career in journalism and mainly media relations. I worked in the communication sector.
Okay.
But there was this calling for, now my path is not this. That was always there.
Okay. All right.
So whatever I did in my earlier career, I would say it was not full-hearted. At the back of my mind, no, this is not my thing. This is not my thing.
Right. Okay. Then you always kind of knew then.
Yeah. And at one point, I decided, okay, now let's fully devote.
Yeah.
Let me fully devote my time on meditation and studies. And I found the Buddhist Studies very interesting.
Yeah.
Very deep.
And then you went abroad to study Buddhism. Yeah. Okay. Did you ever worry that, when you started taking a more spiritual path than the conventional career, did you worry that it wasn't practical enough, or did you have any internal doubts, or even from other people, especially in Nepal? They're like, what do you mean you're leaving a perfectly respectable career?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll give you a story.
Okay.
When I went for a 10-day meditation retreat, Vipasana meditation retreat, in 1996.
Okay.
I was only 20 years then.
Oh.
So now you know my age. Okay. And I went with a friend, and I met some foreigners there. Okay. They were in their middle ages. And then we talked about one, and there was one German guy. He said, now you are very lucky. You are here in Nepal.
Yeah. And
we come all the way from Germany to meditate, and you can just pack your bag and come here to meditate. And then I said, if I do that, then my friends will call me crazy.
Yeah.
And my family will call me crazy. Because this is in my society, if a 20-year young man goes for a 10-day meditation retreat, then people will start thinking, okay, something is wrong in this guy.
Yeah.
So it's not an accepted behavior.
Right, especially for someone who's so young. People expect this to happen, later in life, even if it does. But you fought against all of this then, and
but it was not a full spiritual journey from the beginning. So it was half and half. So I was juggling between this and this and that. And generally the ordinary family and society expectation for a youngster is to earn money and have a good life and big bungalows and acres of land and
100%.
And beautiful family, things like that, beautiful cars. But something haunted me always. This is not going to give me real satisfaction. So there was this voice. Let's say call it a voice. It will not give me real satisfaction. So there was something. This quest was always there.
That's wonderful. Not a lot of people have that, especially so early on. Okay, but in your career, you've experienced or you've worked with so many different kinds of people, from school children to more advanced practitioners. Is there something surprising that you've learned as you're teaching these different kinds of people, especially because I'm assuming you're going to teach all of them in different ways? So how is that like?
Mainly, my main orientation is to learn than to teach.
Yeah.
So I call myself a lifelong student. But sometimes it helps. It is helpful if I share my let's not call it knowledge, whatever little I have learned to others in order to help. So when I feel that this is helpful, then I go out and share with others what I have learned. And sometimes I go to the school children, sometimes to the college students and other people, householders, working professionals. So ultimately it comes down to motivation. So if and I've learned it from my great masters that I've met, and my teacher Mingyur Rinpoche. I see how compassionately he gives out the teachings to people. So that is my main source of my learning and my activities.
Yeah. But all these different people must have different motivations. Like school children will have different motivations in life, and then, more older people, college students, probably have different motivations. Do you find that you have to adjust the way that you talk to them or you teach them when it comes to, parting your knowledge?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I missed that part of the question.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I've known is everyone wants to be happy.
Yeah.
So that's the main motivation.
Right.
So at the surface level, the motivation may be different, but at the bottom level, everyone wants that sense of satisfaction, happiness, peace.
Okay.
So I address that.
Yeah,
I try to address that.
Yeah, I think.
But of course, when talking to youngsters, school kids, I have to use simpler words
right.
and think of examples. And for grown-up people, examples are helpful, stories are helpful.
Of course.
But I can talk about a little
deeper things.
A different, let's say, advanced words.
Yeah. Okay, so in that capacity of a teacher, what do you think makes a good teacher of this in this space of inner work, or in meditation, or even in Buddhism or in philosophy? Is it knowledge? Is it experience? Or do you think it's something else entirely?
The first thing is your own realization.
Okay.
Your own experience. It has to be your lived experience to be a good teacher. And then these are peripheral things. You can learn pedagogy. You can learn the skills of delivering, making presentations, things like that. These are the peripheral things. But at the bottom, fundamentally, you have to know. You have to know yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have realized it yourself. So I've met masters who are not very good at expressing.
Right.
So they don't have the vocabulary. But they can teach more than the people who have a very beautiful vocabulary and the beautiful way of presenting. But of course, these things help.
Yeah. And then what about the learning process? What does it look like? What do you think makes the best students in this field?
To be a good student, you have to keep your curiosity open always.
Right.
So in Buddhism, we call about 3 types of pots.
Okay.
3 types of pots. The one pot, let's say, for example, this cup. I have come to you for coffee.
Okay.
If I bring this cup full, then you'll have no place to put the coffee.
Correct.
So I'll be deprived of the coffee.
Yeah.
Although I may want it, but I'm not willing to throw whatever is there and make it empty.
Right.
So make it vacant, so that you can put coffee. So I'm not willing to do that. So there are people who are not willing to come with an open mind.
Okay.
So they're already full with their ideas. And the second is this cup is empty and in good shape, and I come and I have I request you for the coffee. And then you put coffee and then I get it.
Yeah.
So that is second type. Third type is I have a cup and it's vacant, empty, but it is broken.
Oh, okay.
You put coffee in, but it doesn't stay there.
Yeah.
So there are basically 3 types of people.
Okay.
The good students, the second type.
Right. Who are willing to actually take in the knowledge.
And come with an open mind.
Okay. And then what about the ego? That is a big discussion in these things when learning as well, and in this modern meditation times, wellness eras, we hear the word ego thrown around a lot. So what how does it play into this learning process?
Yeah, that's another a big topic.
Yeah.
Ego is related to the way we understand ego. Let's not go to that psychological definition.
Of course.
By ego, we mean generally, we mean something like I, me.
Ourselves, yeah.
I, me.
Yeah.
This self-centered thought, attitude. And in the learning sphere also, you talked about learning sphere.
Mm-hmm.
In the learning sphere also, this ego is a I'll say it is a hurdle.
Yeah.
So your motivation to learn is to pamper your ego.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not very helpful.
Okay.
Even for learning, it is not helpful because you start creating some sort of like closeness with the teacher.
Right.
So you have some ego.
Yeah.
The self-centered attitude, and that you are not fully able to take what the teacher is teaching you. Even after you learn something, if you are driven by the self-centered attitude, then it's not going to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And you use it to benefit yourself, which is ultimately not beneficial.
Okay. Yeah.
In the short term, it may look like beneficial,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's not beneficial.
Okay.
In other things than learning, ego is a big barrier for our growth, our peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
our sense of connection with others, our happiness, everything.
I mean, there is a certain kind of importance in having a certain sense of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you said it's a barrier. So how do you maintain this sort of balance?
Yeah, that's another good point. Generally, by ego, we understand the negative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has the negative connotation of your sense of self. So you consider yourself to be important, to be better than others,
Mm-hmm.
to be respected and independent, stronger,
Yeah.
one single whole, and have to win.
Be
things like
above other people.
Yeah, be above other people. And going by the modern language, be an achiever, winner,
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
That is not really helpful, but still we need to have a sense of self. We have a
Mm-hmm.
sense of self, and how to draw a line between having a sense of self and having an
Ego. Yeah.
having ego. Yeah. So we can have a realistic, helpful sense of self. Like I need to drink water,
Mm-hmm.
so I need to drink water. So I have a sense of my understanding that I'm feeling thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of my
Thirst. Yeah.
thirst or my bodily state,
Yeah.
and then I need to drink water in order to protect myself. So that is a healthy sense of self.
Okay.
So even that drinking water, lifting the cup
Yeah.
and putting it to your mouth, there's some sense of self.
Right. Yeah.
So I need to drink it. So I need to learn. I need to know things. So there's a sense of self. That's good. That's helpful. Okay, I need to learn meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sense of self. Okay, you have to learn. You have to do your own work, and it is beneficial for you. So in order to benefit yourself, you start practicing meditation, or you do some exploration into yourself. So there, at that time, you have the sense of self. Okay, now this self is good.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But when this sense of self drives you to do harmful things or selfish things,
Mm-hmm.
I need to win, and I don't care if others lose or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So I need to feel good. I don't care if the other person feels bad or not.
Yeah.
So I just scolded that person because it gives me peace.
Right.
I don't care what the other person feels. Maybe I feel like beating him, and I go and slap the other person. I don't know. I don't care what the other person feels. I feel happy. So that is unhealthy.
Okay.
I need some money, and then I go and steal something. I don't care what happens to the other person. So that is unhealthy.
Yeah. So immediately when anything is at the expense of someone else, then it becomes a problem.
So and it comes back to the fundamental values, fundamental principles. They are respected in all cultures, not only Buddhism.
Yeah.
Like ethical conduct.
Right.
Things that you can do to help others and help yourself. So these are fundamental values.
Yeah.
So if we follow those values, then the sense of self we can keep keep a sense of self, a certain kind of ego.
Yeah.
But if it is not aligned with the universally accepted fundamental values of helping yourself and others and not harming yourself and others, then that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you mentioned values as well. Let's talk about these philosophies then. For instance, in Nepal, Buddhism and Hinduism, they're so interrelated, or they overlap in terms of, rituals, festivals, and even personal beliefs for so many people. So what do you think, or how would you define what makes Buddhist philosophy so distinct from the others surrounding it?
I'm not very good at comparing.
Okay.
Because there's I abstain from actually comparing.
Yeah, let's talk about the core values then.
In the coming to core values, both Buddhism and Hinduism, they talk about having freedom from suffering.
Okay.
Let's say freedom from limitations, and having a better life.
Right.
Having a peaceful, happy life. And having leading an ethical life, so not harming others.
Yeah.
So in these fundamental values, both converge.
Right.
There are some deep philosophical things that where they diverge, but up to certain level, both Hinduism and Buddhism grew in the same soil in the Indian subcontinent.
Yeah.
So there are many fundamental things that look alike: the culture, and the language.
Yeah.
The same language was used to write down the Buddhist scriptures and the Hindu scriptures, Sanskrit. Later, the Buddhist scripture was came on also other languages, but it has been preserved in Sanskrit also.
Okay.
So Sanskrit, you see the almost the similar verses.
Yeah.
So, for somebody who doesn't know the philosophy, they will see that these two things look similar, and there are similar especially in Mahayana Buddhism, Vajrayana. They are the deities, and they look similar to the Hindu deities sometimes.
Right.
So there is a lot of cultural things that intersect, but when it comes to core values and core principles, there's difference.
Can you share one of the differences, for instance?
Oh, okay. One thing is the existence of a creator.
Right.
Existence of all knowing, all powerful, omnipotent creator, versus the absence of any such creator.
Oh, okay.
So, in Buddhism, there's an absence of any such creator who sat on one corner of the universe and then thought about, now I'll create these planets, and I'll create these people, this life form. There's no such being in Buddhism.
Yeah.
In certain Hindu traditions, there is such belief.
Okay. Yeah. So in Buddhism, what happens? What's the philosophy behind that? This is just about my own curiosity.
Okay. About creation?
Yes.
Buddhism doesn't talk about creation.
Okay, perfect. All right. Not a discussion then. Yeah. Another thing in Nepal then is that a lot of people identify themselves as Buddhist, culturally, ethnically, but practice may be a different story. So how do you view this gap between Buddhist identity and Buddhist practice, and what do you think helps in bridging that gap?
for the Buddhist identity, that's more related to culture.
Yeah.
So the family tradition and the centuries old. Okay, now our forefathers did this,
right,
and the fathers and our parents did this, and then I carry this. So there's one cultural aspect, and in the cultural aspect we are very strong.
Yeah.
There are many Buddhist people here who have very well preserved all the traditions.
Right.
And there is another aspect of Buddhist practice that is related to wisdom, and meditation comes there.
Yeah.
In the continuation of Buddhist tradition in Nepal, the cultural aspect has been kept intact.
Yeah.
But the wisdom aspect has been lost.
Yeah.
It has been, it's not totally lost, but it is almost completely lost in Nepal. And these days, with our interaction with Buddhist masters from outside of Nepal, mainly from Tibet, we are coming back to the source of the wisdom tradition.
Okay, so that's good. At least we're coming back towards it.
Yeah.
So you would say then being religious looks, in a Buddhist sense, looks different from in other traditions, in other religions. I mean, what does faith or devotion look like in Buddhism then?
Faith and devotion, for Buddhist practice, faith and devotion comes from understanding your teacher and understanding the system.
Okay.
Rather than believing in what others say. So there's another third element, faith, devotion, and belief.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I have seen in other traditions, you believe your master totally, and you believe what your forefathers told you totally, and then your faith and devotion comes out of that.
Yeah.
In Buddhism, there's this encouragement to explore the truth yourself.
Right.
And when you understand it a little bit, and when you think it makes sense, then the faith and devotion comes.
Okay.
Automatically.
Yeah. So in that way, it's more cemented. That way, it's not. You don't easily disbelieve it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although certain level of minimum level of devotion is required, or faith required in the beginning, just to understand, just to go and give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy looks good. That much faith you need to you need to have. You see a picture of Buddha, or you pick a book on Buddhism or Buddhist teaching, then if you have a certain openness, okay, it's not rubbish, so let me give it a try.
Right.
That much openness is needed. That much faith is needed,
of course.
And then you explore,
and
when it makes sense, then you don't have to believe it becomes your part.
Right. Okay, so do you think that these Buddhist values still influence the way people live, like the faith, the devotion? Do they still play a part in how people in Nepal view suffering or death or desire, or is that influence starting to fade?
I think it is still alive. This tradition is still alive. One of the main principles in Buddhism is the principle of karma. Simply put, it is you act certain way, and you will have the consequences accordingly.
Right. Yeah.
So that type of belief is also in Hinduism. In the whole of Nepali Indian culture.
Yeah.
As you sow, so shall you reap. So in the West also.
Yeah.
So there's this saying.
Yeah.
But here in this part, it's very strong.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay for what you do. You'll have to face the consequences. So this belief is still there. So that has influenced our society. We see that we have gone through some difficult times. We went through a very violent political changes, violent insurgency, armed insurgency.
Yep.
And people were killed. People were pulled out from their homes, sleeping. they were killed. And somehow their survivors, their kin, were able to accept that later and forgive them. So there's this belief, okay, now if somebody does bad thing, somebody does unwholesome thing, then they will have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Whether we interfere or not, they will have to pay for it. That belief is there. So it has helped our society to be relatively calm.
Right.
In the aftermath of the earthquake, I compare with other parts of the world. There's looting and there's arson.
Yeah.
And people break into superstores and then take away everything. They break into others' houses and take away everything.
Yeah.
But here, everyone was helping others.
Right.
Whether they had food for themselves or not, they were helping others.
Yeah.
So this feeling, this belief in karma is deeply ingrained in our society. So it is very helpful.
I never thought of it that way, but you're so right. People, especially when bad things are happening, a lot of people in Nepal, they come together no matter what the circumstances are. And there is a big belief in karma that makes our society function. Are there any other core teachings that maybe that people have forgotten or aren't using so much in their daily lives from Buddha or Buddhism that you'd like to share today?
One of the main teachings of Buddha is to understand interrelatedness, interdependence. Okay. So that I think we have forgotten a little bit, although we still remember the principles of karma and do good things, and good things happen to you.
Right.
But the truth of interdependence, interconnectedness, that is somehow lost. So we tend to feel of ourselves as self-existing, and it comes back to the previous question of self-identity and ego.
Yep.
So we think of ourselves as existing by ourselves.
Yeah.
As if we just came here. So by our own merit and by our own strength and by ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
So nobody else has any role in that. It's my life.
Yeah.
My way. Things like that. I like this. My likes, my dislikes.
Yeah. It's all about yourself.
It's all about me. And we are these days in this drive to become modern.
Yeah.
We are taught that now you have to be independent, self-dependent, and don't care about what others do.
Yeah.
And in doing that, we forget how we are interconnected with others.
Right.
How our every breath depends on what others do.
How society functions. If you're not, especially in our cultures.
Suppose there's water inside this cup, and we think that we had money. We bought this cup, and we had money to buy the water. So I.
Yeah.
So just because of the water is there, because I have the money and I can afford it.
Yeah.
But we forget that there may be 1,000 people involved behind making this cup.
Yeah.
There's just chain.
Correct.
Someone collects the raw material. Someone puts it in the factory, and the machine, and then packages it, and then sells it, and then all the supply chain
gets it.
Yeah, gets it here, and then in order to earn money, somebody has to work for you.
Right. Exactly.
So that you can pay.
Yeah.
And you have unimaginable
support
number of people behind this.
Right.
And to make the water drinkable.
Yeah.
So many people are working.
Correct. Yeah.
But we think that just because I had money, I have this. So we forget this interrelated, interdependent existence. So that is one of the core teachings of Buddha.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. I think that is very true. Everything has been reduced to what I can do and what I should do with my life, and people think that doing things for others is something, it's an extra thing. It's not, it's a burden almost. And I think that will impact society, and that does impact society. On the flip side of that, what do you think that maybe the rest of the modern world has started to forget, but we in Nepal or in Nepalese culture and society still remains through, Buddhist philosophy or the teachings of Buddha?
So apart from karma, we are still compassionate. So one main teaching of the Buddha is compassion. So we are still very much compassionate. We just jump into helping others.
Yeah.
So I saw there was a airplane crash some while ago in our airport.
Right.
Just after taking flight, it just plunged and it was burning.
Okay.
And people from across the state, they were rushing to help, to do anything to help.
Yeah. And these are normal, everyday people.
Yeah. So they don't see it indifferently. Oh, somebody dying, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
Somebody falls in the street, and then everyone rushes to lift them up.
Correct. Yeah.
Oftentimes I see motorbikes slipping on the street, and everyone is rushing.
Yeah.
Even people stopping their cars and going to help them. That thing is quite uncommon in the West.
I think so too. Yeah, in the West, I think I myself had an experience as well where I was carrying a shopping bag and then it ripped and then my fruits fell and nobody picked it up. But in Nepal, someone would have definitely stopped and then picked those up for me. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's true. And well, we've been talking about Buddha and Buddhism, so we have to mention enlightenment. So do you think that in this modern day or in these modern times, the idea of enlightenment is misunderstood or seen as something that it is not?
Yeah, very much, yeah. In the purely traditional Buddhist traditions, Buddhist communities, it is not that much corrupted, the idea of enlightenment.
Okay.
So there are different levels of enlightenment, and when you start the Buddhist path, there are certain milestones. There are two main schools of Buddhism, the Sravakyana and Mahayana. Right. I will not go into the details, but in both schools, there are different stages of enlightenment.
Okay.
These days, with the proliferation of, let's come back to the mindfulness again.
Okay.
The modern day spiritual teachers and mindfulness teachers and other system teachers from other traditions, they sometimes they have some glimpses of the truth, or even a false belief that they have had a glimpse of the truth.
Okay.
Sometimes there is confusion about realizing, having certain state, like seeing some lights and seeing some God.
Okay.
Or having the feeling of being levitated. Having being in a samadhi, thoughtless samadhi, motionless for 3 days, things like that. These are, according to Buddhism, these are experiences, that inconsequential experiences that come along the way.
Okay. And
these are, in lack of proper guidance and proper teaching, these are misunderstood as signs of enlightenment, which is not.
Oh, okay. So these are like maybe initial steps, but not...
Not even initial steps.
Oh.
One may not have these experiences and still become enlightened.
Right.
And one may have these experiences and get stuck in these experiences, and they will not be enlightened. According to the what enlightenment is understood in Buddhism. In other traditions, if you have certain experience, then you become a big guru already.
Yeah. Okay. Now, coming back to the personal side of this practice, I think a question a lot of people, especially around my age, have is, what do you do when you feel completely lost? And I don't mean just, stressed out, but completely untethered. You don't know what to do, where to go. Are there any maybe meditation techniques or philosophy? How do you center yourself again?
In that situation, we again come back to our good old friend, awareness.
Right.
So we bring awareness to what is happening.
Okay.
So we bring awareness to this feeling of being lost, and we know it. And there are some other advices, suggestions for meditation. first you be aware of what is happening with you.
Okay.
And then you accept it.
That this is happening.
Yeah. I'm feeling happy in this moment, or I'm feeling distressed.
Yeah.
I'm feeling upset, angry. I'm feeling pain, hurt, whatever it is. I'm feeling elated, joyful. Accept it. And then try to see again how it feels with that acceptance.
Okay. And then
keep exploring. Don't jump to any conclusion.
Okay.
And don't judge it, this experience is bad and this experience is good.
Okay.
Keep exploring.
All right. That sounds like it's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah.
But why do you think that happens, that so many of us feel lost? So many people these days especially, they feel disconnected with themselves. And, is it technology like our grandparents love telling us? Or is it, trauma or our fast-paced lives? What do you think is...
Yeah, there's a combination of all these things.
Okay.
So there's not one thing, one answer for anything. So we are our family background and circumstances and how we, which people we mingle with, our companions. Everything matters, and which Instagram pages you follow, things like that.
Yeah.
Everything influences the way you feel.
Does it all come down to the environment you are in then, or?
Yeah, outwardly.
Okay.
But there is an inner environment also.
Right.
So outside environment we don't have any control, but inside environment we have control. We can have control.
Okay.
But we don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And because of our education system that is so outward focused and self-centered. You have to win, we have to earn money, things like that. And even if you are not studying business, you are studying science, then all your attention is focused outward.
Yeah.
To know about the rocks, chemicals, solar system, things like that.
Yeah.
Or the economy, how the demand and supply curves work.
Yeah.
So everything, and political systems. Okay, this ism and this ism is better. This ism is bad. All outside focus, and we forget to see what is happening inside. What is happening with your emotions? What is happening with your mind? So if we bring balance to our outer focus and inner focus, then we have a better experience of living.
Okay.
And to know yourself, you have to sit down.
Yeah.
And be aware of what is happening inside.
And that's the difficult part. So do you think that if schools start to teach some part of inner work to kids from a somewhat young age, then they'll become better balanced adults, and like maybe we'll have a better time not being lost or disconnected when we're growing older?
Yeah, that is one way.
Okay.
But it has to be done in a way as not imposing.
Right.
If you teach meditation to your kids, if you teach this, you have to look into yourself.
Yeah,
it becomes a lesson, a chore for them.
Yeah.
Then they are not going to do it.
They're not going to do it.
The best way is to show by your own example.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to practice.
Yeah, you have to practice, and as parents, as teachers, you are practicing. Your emotional balance is in a good place. You can overcome your anger sooner than others. You don't have to overcome. You cannot, but you come out of your anger or jealousy or hatred sooner than others. Then there's something that you are teaching them.
Right. Yeah.
So teaching not by
telling them, but
teaching by showing.
Yeah.
So that way, if we can teach our kids, our younger generation, that will be really helpful.
Yeah, especially because young kids, they definitely learn by observation. They imitate what we're doing. I've seen kids walk around pretending they're on phone calls and all of that. I think, but what I think also, this is my personal view, is that a lot of disconnection and being lost, it comes from not having answers immediately. I think we're used to, with Google, with AI, I think we're used to having answers in seconds, if not minutes. But in life, you can't have your answers come so fast. Like you said, we're sitting there and observing ourselves, and that's very difficult. Do you think there's some kind of healing, or there's some kind of peace in just having questions and not having answers to them? How do you deal with that? How do you stay okay with not having all the answers?
Yeah, that is another important skill that we need to learn.
Yeah.
And it comes back to your self-centered, ego-centered attitude.
Okay.
What the AI is doing, what the ChatGPT or Google is doing.
Yeah.
You put in a search word, and it immediately gives you the result catered to you.
Right. Yeah.
So it is studying your search words and your search history, and maybe also collecting data from your system, and it caters the information that it suits you, and you also have that feeling. Okay, now it knows. It is catering to my need.
Yeah.
Again, strengthening your ego, self-centered attitude. And since we are training ourselves these days in this manner, now I like this.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you are teaching me, preaching me. Even to your teachers.
Yeah.
Even to your parents. My rights.
Right.
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
So this attitude is not very helpful. I think we need to have a master plan.
Okay.
We need to have a master plan how to combat this kind of self-centered and only my kind of thought, and think in terms of other people also.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if I don't get what I want, it's okay. We have to learn that acceptance. And even if I don't get the answers right away, my answers, my questions, I need to have answer.
Yeah.
Even if I don't get it, that's okay.
Right.
That question pertains to other people or yourself. Sometimes you are angry with yourself, and you want to know something and you don't know.
Yeah.
And you have to be kind to yourself also and others also. And between you, there are two yous.
Yeah.
And one you wants the answer immediately, and the other you cannot find the answer immediately. And you start being frustrated with yourself.
Yeah.
It's similar to being frustrated with the other person who cannot answer you.
Right. Yeah.
So if we train ourselves in being kind and accepting the other person, then we can also be kind, and we can accept ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. And
so it's okay to have the questions unanswered.
Yeah.
So we need to learn that skill.
Yeah.
We need to learn it and help others to learn it also.
Yeah. And somewhat related to that, like you mentioned, especially in the West, and with now Western influences here as well, a lot of people are very ambitious. They want to further themselves, even if it is at the cost of so many other people or other things in their lives. But then again, we are in Nepal, say, brought up in a way that says, take the family with you, or you have given value to other things more than other things as well with your career. So is there any advice that you have to balance both those sides? You can't not have ambition, but at the same time, I'd rather not give up my values that have raised me.
So we have to find a middle way.
Yeah.
So follow your ambition, but don't forget the universal fundamental human values.
Right. Okay.
So you be successful in modern terms.
Yeah.
You earn money and have a easy life, but don't forget the universal values that are beneficial to yourself and others. So in order to be successful, we are thinking of our own benefit and our own happiness, but we are completely ignorant or oblivious of the others' benefits and others' happiness. So if we can balance, let me respect others, let me choose a career that doesn't harm others.
Right.
Even in the career that I have chosen, I will work in a way that doesn't harm others, and that benefits me and benefits others. So we have to find a middle way there.
Okay. Yeah. And then as we're nearing the end of our podcast, I think all of these discussions have been about, people or for people who believe in meditation and then have some amount of faith in all of these philosophies. Do you have any advice for people who are skeptical of all of this? Like, what is a small practice that they can probably do in their daily lives that won't significantly impact their lifestyle, but may start to shift things internally for them?
Even for people who don't like to meditate, I think everyone wants to be happy, and everyone wants to know things, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't use ChatGPT or AI and many other things.
For sure.
They don't use Google if they don't want to know things. So everybody wants to know things. Everybody wants to be happy, and everybody doesn't want to suffer, and nobody wants to suffer.
Yeah.
So these are fundamental things that we are all together. So let us explore. Let us start exploring these aspects. Let us keep ourselves open to knowledge.
Yeah.
And not only knowledge to external world, knowledge of yourself also, because it is you who experience happiness or wants to avoid suffering. You are projecting your happiness, you are outsourcing your happiness to outside things, which is not true. And whether it makes sense or not, you can explore for yourself.
Yeah.
And one simple invitation for meditation to start exploring yourself is start with your breath.
Right.
So that's the most common mindfulness advice, mindfulness practice. Start with your breath. It doesn't matter whether your breath is certain way, long, short, smooth, coarse. Doesn't matter.
You just focus on it.
You don't have to like or dislike your breath. It is there.
Right.
And it is true.
Yeah.
And you cannot distort that truth that you are breathing.
Correct. Yeah.
And maybe put a little feeling of gratitude. Okay, because of this breath, I'm alive.
Right. Okay.
And start seeing your breath with gentleness. Okay, because of this breath, I'm alive.
Yeah. Okay.
And accept your truth of the moment. And now, when your mind is on the breath, your mind starts wandering, and then you bring your awareness to the wandering mind. So you start knowing how you function. You start knowing your physiology with the breath. You start knowing how your mind is wandering, how your mind works.
Okay.
And knowing is cool, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So even if you don't want to meditate, then just have this curiosity.
Yeah. Okay. And what about for people who have been meditating or who have been practicing, but they feel stuck or they've plateaued and they don't know how to move further?
So for them, it's we need to understand that it's a normal, natural process.
Okay.
Sometimes your meditation feels very good. Yeah. Sometimes you feel lost.
Right.
And even after years of practicing, sometimes you feel distraught and discouraged.
Yeah.
It's a normal process.
Okay.
It happens up and downs.
Just accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is up, sometimes there is down.
Yeah. All right.
And then again up, again down. It goes on.
For sure.
But continue.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. This brings us to the end of our podcast episode. I have truly learned a lot today, really. So thank you. I'm sure our listeners will also learn a lot from you.
And thank you for inviting me here.
Of course, it was our pleasure. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, take care. Namaste.